Hey, y'all. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. It's August 27th. Happy Wednesday, y'all. Glad to see y'all in the building. I'm trying to get comfortable in my chair here, okay? Because it's trending topics. It's Wednesday, and we got stuff to talk about. Happy Wednesday, y'all. I'm glad to see y'all in the building. Listen, tonight's title is sad. I'm just keeping it simple. I was trying to come up with the word in my head, and just sad kept coming to mind. Sad. So, there's mixed messages about exactly how the detectives in the police department know that baby Emmanuel Haro, parents took his life, because they're being hush hush. But what the one thing they're saying is that they had an undercover police officer acting like they was an inmate and went and talked to the father, Jake. And then Jake, he did confess to taking the baby's life. And although they're trying to keep that tight-lipped, I do believe it wholeheartedly, 100%. Because how else would they go with the father in the field looking for the baby if he didn't do some type of confession? He didn't know he was confessing to a cop, but he did. And they're saying, unfortunately, the baby suffered years. And now I'm saying years. The baby's only 7 months. The baby suffered a long-term amount of abuse in his short life. And they're saying, is it recorded? Flip the script. I don't know. But they're saying that the baby, they believe, lost his life because he succumbed to the abuse. Now, many of y'all little mini detectives, y'all said a lot before the police even came out and said anything. Many people were saying, because remember they said the baby had a lazy eye when they claimed the baby was kidnapped and they was looking for him. Many people had said that probably was from, the baby probably wasn't born like that. The baby was probably being abused. Many of y'all said that. Y'all caught the fact that the mother wasn't even crying when she claimed he was kidnapped and missing. Y'all caught the fact that the father was talking about the baby in past tense. He was a good baby. He was a happy baby. He was crawling and everything. So y'all caught all of that. And the parents, we also caught that the mother's black eye, it looked old. It didn't look like a fresh black eye. So they figured them out. It's sad, but we're going to talk about it. Yeah, him and the mother was telling on themselves, but we're going to talk about it. So that's the father's Jake confessions, okay? Then we got this Cracker Barrel. Listen, the people get upset over the craziest things. They changed their logo and the people lost their natural mind. They took the man with the barrel, they took it off the logo and they just had Cracker Barrel. Well, honey, the people lost their mind. Trump told them to just go back to their old logo and admit their mistakes. Next thing you know, they said they was going back to their old logo. But that ain't really what my story is about tonight. My story is about the fact that this worker came out and said that they fired, a new person came in, a new CEO came in, fired all the people that was cook, the short order cooks and all of that, and they said brought in a truckload of frozen foods. So y'all supposed to be getting homemade, home style meatloaf and all that other kind of stuff. They said ain't nothing homemade about it because now they got a truckload of frozen foods, and when you order your meatloaf, they take it out of the freezer, stick it in the microwave, and then they had the nerve to say sometimes it's still cold when they give it to you. Shall we gonna talk about it? We're gonna talk about it. And then the last story, sad, right? It's sad when you think you getting freshly cooked food that's homemade and they taking it out the freezer and putting it in a microwave. We're going to talk about it. Flip the Script said, I went there one time 5 years ago and got a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, and it cost $14. Good googly my for a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit. Well, now we're going to talk about Uber. I told y'all, and listen, because I say I don't do something, that don't mean I got anything against anybody who does do it. But I told y'all, Uber, Lyft, I have been in an Uber, I have been in a Lyft, but it ain't my ride of choice, neither one of them. I don't like it. It's scary to me because they just hire anybody. But when my back was up against the wall, I had to get in the Uber, I had to get in the Lyft because I ain't had no other choice. I couldn't walk on the highway home. But if there's a preferred choice, it ain't nobody Uber or Lyft. So the CEO, the Uber driver knocked him out cold because they was arguing over him having his dog and trying to get in the Uber, and the Uber was like, no dogs allowed. And he's like, well, this ain't a regular dog, this is a service dog. This is my emotional support dog. They get the Uber driver and him got into it. The Uber driver clocked him in the head, knocked him cold out on the ground. He hit the ground, and the Uber and the CEO said the Uber driver left him for dead. Well, guess what? He's suing Uber now. And I told y'all before, I'm not a queen of nobody suing, but when you got to sue, you got to sue. And in this case, I'm sorry, you got to sue Uber because they like to hire anybody. And the CEO said the driver had a fake license. See why I don't like to take this Uber and Lyft? Anybody could wake up and decide, I want to be an Uber driver. They don't have to go in no physical office and get no drug test, no blood test. Nobody have to physically lay eyes on them. You do everything online. You send your license, your paperwork, all of that online. Next thing you know, they mail you the Uber sticker or the light. You stick it in your car and boom, you out in the streets with your app picking people up. I'll take a pass. Picking people up. I have read stories where the Uber drivers are pulling out pow-pows on people. The Uber drivers is doing the most to people. And that's why Uber Eats is a negative for me. I will be in my house starving first. Listen, I love oatmeal. And I get the Quaker oats. I get the old-fashioned oats. If I'm starving in my house and nothing else is left, I don't care if it's lunchtime, breakfast time, dinner time, I'll make me some oatmeal and call it a night. But I'm not using Uber Eats. Now, do I order out? I still order out. But you know what I do? I order from restaurants where I know they have a delivery person and they're not using nobody Uber Eats. Because when they got to start taping up your bag so that they not digging in your bag, taking a French fry or a piece of your bagel or sipping out your coffee before they bring it to you, heck no, I'm not doing Uber Eats. So now Uber is getting sued. And this man need to get some money because, of course, they got it on video with the Uber driver knocking them out. But guess what? The Uber driver, I think they said the Uber driver was Russian. And I think he did have his proper paperwork to be here, but it don't matter. If your paperwork is in order or not in order, whatever the case may be, you need to be in order. You know why? Because the minute you do something wrong, guess what's going to happen? They're going to deport you behind. Because now, not only is he locked up, they're waiting for ICE to come get him. Now, I bet you he wish he would have just took that man with his dog in his car. And if the dog did a little tinkle or sprinkle in his car, he should have had some Clorox wipes and some Febreze and just cleaned it up and kept it pushing. But now he's going to be deported. I don't talk too much, y'all. talked enough. I talked enough. So y'all know what I need in the chat. What do I need, y'all? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Wednesday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. I see my moms out there. I appreciate you, Carbar, and I appreciate you, Julius. But we got stuff to talk about. Thank you for the choo-choo. I'm about to bring the people on in the building, okay? The title is called Sad. We got baby Emmanuel's father, Jake, confesses. We got Cracker Barrel, secret, the food is frozen, okay? And we got the Uber driver knocked out a CEO, and now he's suing. Let me bring the people on in. Hey, Julius. Hey, Kelly.
Hey, y'all, hit the like button. Choo-choo be big. Oh, not the frozen food, not my pancakes and eggs and sausage. Oh.
Child, the frozen food. All right, y'all, I'm going to go ahead. You know what? Let's just do this story first. Baby Emmanuel. A lot of y'all called it from the door. I think we all didn't believe the mother's story. We just didn't know the level to which and how deep this thing went. But the one that said they talked with the mother, they was hoping the mother would confess and say, listen, I'm being abused myself. But when they put the jailhouse snitch on the mother's was 10 toes down on her story, and that her baby was kidnapped. But the dad broke. And he said, yeah, I did what I did pretty much, and put the baby in the trash. And what my fear is, if he did put the baby in the trash, my fear with that is that he's probably wherever, they go dump the trash, he's probably there. And unfortunately, we're probably not going to be able to find him. It's just, this thing is just super, super sad. Let me just share screen here, and we'll listen to some of this. I'm just waiting for my screen to catch up here, y'all. Hopefully it'll catch up soon. I think it's coming through. This, first of all, the dad should have been in jail. He should have never been in the streets. Let me go ahead and play this.
It was the defendants in this case that had a press conference first. And they did so in order to tell the public, the media, and ultimately law enforcement that their child had been kidnapped, when in fact that's not what occurred.
The authorities held a news conference Wednesday for the first time since the Haros went on the air August 14th with what is now said to be a lie.
Got him out of the car seat, and I laid him down and so I could get his diapers ready. And somebody said, hold on, that's all I remember.
There's also a report that says the father, Jake Haro, broke from the storyline that he and his wife have been giving the public, that he confessed in jail. And on top of that, the DA says Jake Haro should have been in prison. The major break he says a judge gave him in another child abuse case that perhaps could have prevented Emmanuel's death. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. We have a couple big updates to give you today in the case involving Emmanuel Haro. The Riverside County District Attorney said that he has an idea of where Emmanuel Haro's body is, and he also has an idea of what happened to Emmanuel Haro at the hands, allegedly, of his parents. DA Michael Hestrin held a news conference Wednesday alongside law enforcement who have been working this case. And not only did we learn more about the search for Emmanuel and the case against his parents, we also learned more about a previous child abuse case involving Jake Haro that goes back to 2018. And the DA did not hold back in saying the judge gave Haro a break and it was a bad decision. Now, before I get to that part of the story, let's get you the latest on where things stand right now in the search for Emmanuel Haro and the case against his parents. This is video per News Nation of Jake and Rebecca Haro in court on Tuesday. They're now officially charged with the murder of their 7-month-old son. Their court hearing on Tuesday was a brief one. They didn't speak, they didn't show much emotion or enter pleas. They are expected to be arraigned on charges next week, September 4th. Now, we did learn in the criminal complaint yesterday that we received that law enforcement believed that Emmanuel Haro died as early as on or around August 5th. That's 9 days before his parents went on KABC claiming that Rebecca Haro, the mom, had been attacked and young Emmanuel was kidnapped from a parking lot in Yucaipa, California.
Got him out of the car seat and I laid him down and so I could get his diapers ready. And somebody said, "Hola," and that's all I remember.
Whoever took our son, please give him back.
Jake and Rebecca Haro are also facing a felony charge of filing a false report. Law enforcement today said it was within 24 hours that they knew, in their opinion, that the Haro story just wasn't true. A major update from today's news conference was when the Riverside County District Attorney was asked if he had any idea on where baby Emmanuel's remains are located. This is per News Nation.
Yes, we have a pretty strong indication of where the remains of baby Emmanuel are. That investigation is ongoing at this time.
The DA wouldn't go deeper into where that is, and he wouldn't flat out say that they know where Emmanuel's remains are located. Now, you might remember this image per KABC of Jake Haro with deputies off a highway about 22 miles from his home on Sunday. The remains of Emmanuel weren't located at that time. Now, when asked about what happened during that search and why Jake Haro was out there, the San Bernardino County Sheriff said they were getting some level of cooperation from the suspect, but he would not go into more detail. But then a bombshell report today per the Uvalde Foundation for Kids. It's a nonprofit that was originally helping in the search for Emmanuel Haro, and they told us that they've learned that Jake Haro confessed while in jail. They say Haro confessed to a Perkins informant. That is an undercover law enforcement officer posing as a fellow inmate. Now, we're working to get comment from law enforcement about that and confirm if they'll tell us if Jake has actually confessed. It does appear, though, at least at the time of this recording, his wife, who is being kept at a separate facility, she is sticking to her story. At least she was on Sunday when Jake was out with deputies, because Rebecca Haro gave an interview to a reporter with the Southern California News Group from jail. And we spoke.
She, stuck to her guns. I gave her every opportunity to say, well, Jake was behind it, or, I'm a victim of domestic violence. Gave her ample opportunity to change her story.
It's unclear what Haro specifically said in jail, but we did just learn from the district attorney how they believe baby Emmanuel died. More now per the cameras of News Nation.
The filing in this case reflects our belief that baby Emmanuel was abused, victim of child abuse over time, and that eventually, because of that abuse, he succumbed to those injuries.
Another part of this news conference was information on a previous child abuse case involving Jake Haro when he was married to someone else. It happened in 2018. Haro's then 10-week-old daughter, just an infant, had to go to the hospital. She had broken bones, and Haro was charged with cruelty to children. In 2023, he was sentenced in the case, and the DA says the girl, who's now 7 years old, has lifelong injuries because of Jake Haro. She is bedridden. She can't talk. She has other challenges in her life, all because of the man who allegedly then murdered his 7-month-old son. Now, for as horrific as that 2018 crime was, Haro didn't go to prison. He was given a suspended sentence. It wasn't a plea deal, though. This was a plea through the court, the DA says. The decision to not give Haro a steep prison sentence was made by a judge. It was a judge in Riverside County, but they were visiting from San Bernardino County, according to the district attorney. Here is what the Riverside DA said about that. He has been on the job since 2014, so this was a case that his office prosecuted.
And the judge decided, as is the judge's right to do in that case, he decided that Mr. Haro deserved an extra break and gave him probation and basically 180 days of work release, which ends up being like community service. I will say that it was an outrageous error in judgment by this judge.
The Haros are being held in separate jails, and again, they'll both be in court on September 4th. Joining us now is former federal prosecutor and the founder of West Coast Trial Lawyers, Nima Romani. Thank you, as always, for being with us here on Law on Crime. Very sad case that we've been following out of Southern California.
I'm gonna stop there for a minute. This is so sad. Let me just share screen again. Let me see if I can share again. My screen is being super slow today, but I have so much up here. Okay, let's see if this will go. I'm trying to close out some things so it'll go a little faster for me. Okay, that didn't want to go.
Okay, everybody. So I just got my signal. This story, can everybody hear me? Just say yes in the chat.
Yes.
Okay. So I do wish I was wrong on the outcome of the story. It's just something wasn't right. It was too many inconsistencies, too many potholes like in it. And I just felt in my gut that that little precious baby was not in this life anymore. And so y'all are gonna be surprised with me tonight, but I do wish I wasn't spot on with this outcome. Especially given this man's history. I'ma just say it. Um the devil is busy. The devil and his minions are busy. And given especially what happened in Minneapolis this morning, it's uncanny when these children are not being loved, valued, and protected, especially from the people who are supposed to be doing the love, valuing, and protecting, and they can't even, and there's no defenses to it. And so we have the outcome. We all knew it in some way, but it's quite unfortunate. And I pray that little baby Emmanuel is with the Father above, and that he is fully restored and healed of his trauma that he went through. But I'm going to say this too, from both his mother and father, because they're both the evil demons in this story. They both chose to lie, they both chose to produce harm. And I don't have sympathy for this mother. They're both demons to me. Callie, it's on you.
You know, Riverside County is a different kind of a place. That judge that decided that he needed a break for harming a child, that is insane. Somebody doesn't need a break or a second chance after they harmed a child. Like and you give them like a suspended sentence. That is a break would be like we gonna give you 15 years. So you'll still be alive when you get out. You know, and then this man went on to have more children. I just have a feeling that both of these people are unstable. It wouldn't surprise me if both of these people are substance users or just, I don't know. It's a certain kind of person that lives out in that desert in those sort of like disshuffled properties. They're a different kind of people. And this poor baby did not ask to be here. I don't know who hits. This was literally a baby. This wasn't a 2 or a 3-year-old. Who hits a baby? Like seriously. Like why are you hitting a baby? A baby can't do anything but cry. That's it. Like that is literally all that baby can do to annoy you. And it wouldn't surprise me if, like I said, if there's also some substance issues going on with these people, because apparently it sounds like both of them they're just have had kids that have been taken away before. To me, this sounds like the pattern of people that deal with hard substances. It just sounds like that they're in a sort of like this lifestyle of being a certain type of a person, if you know what I mean. And it's just sad because this did not have to happen. This man should have been still in jail for what happened the first time. I cannot imagine why a judge would let him walk. That's just unimaginable to me. And that child, we've seen that child. The child is here suffering. That's all that child is doing. She has no quality of life. This man was out walking around, had some more kids, and now then one of them then turned up unalived. This is you can't make this up. This is hard for me even to believe. I suspected that the child had passed away from the first time I heard this story. But this whole background of this man, is hard for me to even believe this is real. And there was just a certain kind of privilege that was given to this man that we all know would not be given to somebody of a darker hue. I don't care what his last name is. He is still part of the privileged group, because there's just no way I don't see it any way in the world if this were a Black man, him being let go after something like that happening with a child, for him to go do it again. I've never heard of anything like that. I'm having a hard time getting my mind around this whole thing. So next person.
Thank you, y'all. And can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
I'm sorry for my technical difficulties, but let me just get through this real quick and then we'll go to the next person. So Emmanuel Haro's father admitted to unaliving missing baby and dumping him in a trash can. Emmanuel Haro's father admitting to unaliving the 7-month-old and then dumping his body in a trash can, according to a new report. As authorities say, the baby died after enduring lengthy abuse by his parents. Investigators used an undercover inmate to guide Jake Haro into admitting to the grisly crime, News Nation's Bryan reported, citing sources. Meanwhile, authorities said they can prove Emmanuel died after a long period of physical abuse at the hands of Haro and his wife, Rebecca, who live in Riverside County, California. We believe baby Emmanuel was subject to abuse over time, and because of that abuse, he succumbed to his injuries, Riverside County District Attorney Michael told reporters on Wednesday. Let me just see if I could pause this. Now, I'm going to go back to this picture. Many people had said in the beginning, you know, and the dad had said in one of the press conference when they was pretending like they was looking and searching for the baby, that, you know, he had a lazy eye. Many people have pointed out that they really felt like this lazy eye allegedly was due to abuse by the hands of the father. I just wanted to back that up. They said we have a pretty strong indication of where the remains of baby Emmanuel are, he added. And I think the reason why they have a pretty strong indication is because the father put him out with the trash, unfortunately. And, you know, they do know where the trash goes, like where it's dumped at. Jake Haro's wife, Rebecca, initially told cops a strange man had hit him on the head and snatched the kid while she was changing his diaper outside a sporting goods store in San Bernardino on August the 14th. Now, the only thing I can appreciate is that she says she got knocked out and didn't see him, and she didn't just blame it on a person, because usually when they blame it on somebody, that somebody looks like me. Sheriff's deputies arrested the Haros several days later and charged them with murder, citing inconsistencies in their story. But I heard that at that point, they already knew, because they looked at surveillance video of the area and they couldn't find anything to corroborate her story. Jake Haro changed the story from jail, telling cops he rolled over on Emmanuel while he slept and suffocated him, burying his body near a freeway, according to Bryan. The freeway story may explain why Jake Haro was seen with investigators in a remote field in Moreno Valley. We have some ideas in terms of where we're going to look and where we're going to continue to investigate. The prosecutor said. He pointed to a 2023 child abuse conviction against Haro, 32, who severely beat his young daughter from a previous marriage, leaving the girl bedridden with permanent injuries. So what we know about the disappearance of Emmanuel, parents Jake and Rebecca were arrested on August 22nd on murder charges a week after their 7-month-old Emmanuel went missing. The mother previously claimed their baby boy was abducted after a man attacked her outside of a sporting goods store on August the 14th. But police said there were inconsistencies with her story. Jake's car was seized as the father by police days later for evidence as the search continued for Emmanuel. The father previously served a prison sentence for child cruelty stemming from an incident in 2018 and is currently on probation. Police officers stormed into their house and arrested them after determining there was no abduction. It is believed Emmanuel is deceased and the search to recover his remains is ongoing, the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department said in a statement. Jake Haro was seen in an orange jumpsuit, assisting police officers in a search for Emmanuel remains off a highway in Moreno Valley, California on August the 24th. The prosecutor said that Haro should have been in prison after that incident, which left his child with fractured ribs, a fractured skull, a brain hemorrhage, and other injuries. Yet Haro received no jail time. That decision was obviously outrageous. Mr. Haro should have been in prison, he said. Authorities confirmed that both Jake and Rebecca Haro will be charged with unaliving their child, but they emphasized that they do not have a precise location for Emmanuel's body. Police also tried to dupe Rebecca Haro with a similar undercover inmate operation, also known as Snitch Jacket, but she stuck by her story, News Nation reported. Emmanuel may have been dead weeks before the couple reported the kidnapping. The couple have two other children, a 2-year-old daughter and a 16-year-old, who's Jake's stepchild. The daughter has been taken into the care of Riverside Child Protective Services. The parents were set to be arraigned on Tuesday, but their parents was postponed until next week. The Riverside County Sheriff, which is conducting a joint investigation with cops in San Bernardino, revealed that they responded to a report of suspected child abuse near the sporting goods store on the same day Emmanuel vanished, and the Haros are linked to that probe. Sheriff deputies said that the report involved a home in Cottonwood Avenue in Moreno Valley, just down the road from the Big Five Sporting Goods, where Rebecca claimed to have been attacked. The investigation is related to the Haros and no further details are available. Authorities said in a statement referring to the child abuse report, little Emmanuel's body still has not been found. Just sad and sick. I know that you went, Callie. Katrina, what are your thoughts?
Hey Diva, hey panel, hey chat. I'm sorry I was late, Diva. Let me just do this first. And I don't know about anybody religion preference, but let me just say the Psalm 23rd over this chat because this is so dark and so anyway. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in the green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restored my soul. He leadeth me in path of righteousness. Yea, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod, thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anoints my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So by me saying that, I pray that baby is in the house of the Lord forever, and he's out of that pathetic, demonic, sick. He didn't even stand a chance.
Mm-mm.
9 months old. What
Mm.
could he like? Kelly said, what could he do other than cry and you have to feed him and change him? He couldn't talk. He couldn't walk. This is so demonic on so many levels, and for them to sit up and tell those lies, we don't know if the coyotes or something took the baby. It just this is so sad on so many levels, and I'm just happy. I'm just happy that this little child is out of the suffering that he probably was going through living in that house. And I
Mm-hmm.
know he got his wings, and I hope he's wrestling peacefully right now. That's all I got.
Thank you. 48, your thoughts?
Hey Diva, panel chat. Um, okay, so first of all, rest in peace, Manuel. Rest easy up there. Play with all the other little babies. Enjoy Jesus up there.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, Diva, what they did was disgusting, but I'm more pissed at the justice system. Like, I'm just sick of how like lax we are with
Mm.
with crime or with certain people who commit crime. We
Mm-hmm.
should be like other countries, and it's a blatant punishment for blatant abuses and charges. Like if you unalive someone in their country, you will be unalived. If
Mm.
you harm a child like they have, they will probably be unalived in that other country, but you're not getting out. It's no freedom, no hope for tomorrow. It ain't none of that. I'm just sick and tired of hearing about it. And we need to hold these judges accountable too. Like what? You beat a baby until she's like comatose,
Mm.
where she has 3% of her brain function? Like that's so inhumane to me. That's someone's loved one. You know, you never want to say, you know, what you wouldn't do or whatever, but it's like, what kind of quality of life is this little girl gonna have? And she absolutely meant nothing to the justice system. For him not to have 1 day in prison. Did you see the pictures of that baby, Diva?
Mm,
She was so bruised and swole. She looked like a plastic doll, like
mm,
one of those old dolls that people collect. That's how she looked from all of the swelling from the beatings.
mm,
I just want to say that they lucky that I'm not in charge, that I'm not their God, because like Katrina said, it takes me to a level, being a child that was abused, it takes me
mm.
to a level of vengeance that's not good. It's not healthy. But something needs to happen to these people. And it's like they come to our country and they do this crap. Not saying that it's not happening in other places, but we're the only place that give people like this second, third, and fourth and fifth chances. Just sick of it. Rest in peace, Emmanuel. That's all I
Yeah,
got, people.
I appreciate you. Yeah, rest in peace, baby Emmanuel. These parents are psychotic, psychotic. And that mother, you literally, she know the father was in there running his mouth, and she should have spoke up, but now she a day late and a dollar short too. So they both deserve whatever they get. Let me go ahead and roll into this next story. The next story I'm gonna do is this Cracker Barrel situation. Let's get into this. Hold on one second. Let me share a screen.
Millions of customers forget about it. The restaurant chain says that it's scrapping the new logo and sticking with the old one. They are crying uncle. That follows severe backlash on social media, including criticism from President Trump himself. Cole Valdez is outside a Cracker Barrel near Nashville, Tennessee. Cole, good morning.
Tony, good morning. The 55-year-old Tennessee-based company is now reversing course just a week after they plan to adopt a new logo. It all happened so fast, they didn't even have time to change all the signs on all of their restaurants. But customers are all for this reversal, shares jumping 7% by last night.
Here at the Cracker Barrel,
A familiar face is here to stay at Cracker Barrel. The restaurant chain now says it will keep its old-time logo with that iconic barrel and image of Uncle Herschel.
Cracker Barrel's all about more.
It comes nearly a week after the country restaurant introduced a new, simplified logo with only the words Cracker Barrel. The move angered customers.
Now we have this minimalist logo down here that just looks so tacky.
Sunk the company's market value by nearly $100 million. Upset conservative commentators.
Cracker Barrel launches their woke rebrand and the stock traders.
And President Trump, who called the rebrand a mistake on Tuesday. Later that day, Cracker Barrel said, "We thank our guests for sharing your voices. We said we would listen, and we have. Our new logo is going away, and our old-timer will remain." It's not the first time President Trump has exerted his influence over a business. Last month, Coca-Cola said it would roll out Coke with cane sugar this fall after the president said he pushed the beverage giant to do so.
Sydney Sweeney has very keen.
You see what I did there, right?
And American Eagle stock prices jumped more than 23% after President Trump praised the company's controversial ad featuring Sydney Sweeney.
If Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, I think her ad is fantastic.
As for Cracker Barrel, the president also congratulated them on keeping their original logo, saying, "Make your customers happy again."
Now, the rebrand was Cracker Barrel's attempt to freshen things up and modernize after years of slow growth. And while sales have been positive so far this year, the company does say that their gift shop sales could suffer in the wake of $5 million because of tariffs. Tony?
Nicole, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
All right. Let me share screen again. Now that's about the logo, but this is a little more serious right here now for the people thinking they're getting fresh food. So angry Cracker Barrel workers dish on skimpy pay and frozen food that's passed off as home style cooking in a bag off a truck. So Cracker Barrel employees are calling out their embattled CEO following the restaurant chain logo crisis and dishing on everything from downsized hours and pay to the frozen food that's passed off as home style cooking. Want to know how your meatloaf is cooked whenever you come into Cracker Barrel? According to a 12-second video posted on X, that purported to be taken inside one of the chain's kitchens. Hold on one sec. I'm trying to freeze that so it won't hold up my screen. We throw it in a microwave and then we serve it to you, according to the video, which panned to stacked trays allegedly filled with pre-packaged meatloaf, and sometimes it's still cold. Elsewhere, weight loss influencer Kara read a purported letter from a Cracker Barrel employee that blames CEO Julia for ruling Cracker Barrel by slashing kitchen jobs and serving frozen food. I wish today we had a gag. I was told today we have a gag order and are not supposed to be speaking about how the food is being made, the alleged employee claimed in a letter, according to the Messino fired cooks and prep cooks when she came to the company in 2023. She, Felkamp, who is based in the Chicago area, read the note in a Tuesday video without identifying the employee. She has since heard from other Cracker Barrel staffers, she told the Post. The fire kitchen workers cooked our country homemade food, and now our food is like fast food, the letter added. It's all frozen in a bag off of a truck. We are basically turning into a fast food restaurant. The employee also griped about restaurant staff being cut back to part-time workers who can't work more than 32 hours a week, so they don't have to offer health insurance. Servers who don't sell enough takeout or shareable menu items have their hours cut even more, according to the employee, who says she worked for a store in a small town. We have families to feed and bills to pay, the employee said. Messino has not only laid off many of her long-term employees, but now expects the least paid employees to do more. Cracker Barrel did not immediately respond to the request for a comment. The 55-year-old company landed on a hot seat after it unveiled a logo last week that got rid of the barrel with the chain's folksy mascot, Uncle Herschel. After initially doubling down, Cracker Barrel announced late Tuesday that it would bring back the old-timer image shortly after President Trump weighed in on the matter. Cracker Barrel should go back to the old logo amid a mistake based on customer response, the ultimate poll, and manage the company better than ever before. They got $1 billion worth of free publicity if they play their cards right. Very tricky to do, but a great opportunity, the president posted on Truth Social. Cracker Barrel executives reportedly had a call with the White House shortly before they announced their about face. We thank our guests for sharing your voices and love for the Cracker Barrel, the company said in a statement Tuesday. We said we would listen, and we have. Our new logo is going away, and our old timer will remain. But a bigger factor may have been what was happening in the business in recent days, according to the restaurant analyst Mark. When you see any company react this quickly, it says the uproar was worth reacting to, he told the Post. The likely explanation is that their guests stopped coming. This is a mess. When you're not expecting frozen food, when you're expecting freshly cooked food, homemade, home style, and now the people behind the scenes are telling you it's frozen. Julius, what are your thoughts?
Oh, Lord, not my pancake, sausage, and bacon. This is messy. Ooh, where's Mama Clumple? We need her some old-fashioned eggs, sausage, and bacon, and some homemade biscuits with the white gravy. Oh, my Lord. Oh. this is a laughing stock to me. I barely got any of that out with a straight face. Um, I mean, Cracker Barrel hasn't been talked about in forever, and it's like one of my Facebook friends said if they did this just as a publicity stunt, well, guess what? Good for them because it is working and it is hilarious. I mean, they was upset. Okay, the heathens was upset.
Thanks, Julius. Callie, your thoughts?
Okay, I think one of the reasons why I got up here was because of the story. There's a Cracker Barrel in Gonzales, Louisiana. If you're from Louisiana, you know that that Cracker Barrel is packed, and there's a whole lot of people that look like us eating and working in there. I did not know until very recently that that was not the norm for a Cracker Barrel. So whenever I would hear people say that their food wasn't good, I'd be like, what the world are you talking about? Like, we stand in line for like over an hour to get food from this place. And I'm just usually driving past on my way to where we're actually from New Orleans. If we leave early in the morning, we'll stop at Cracker Barrel. We'll specifically plan our trip just so we can stop there and eat. So, so this impression that people have of Cracker Barrel is something totally different than what I was aware of until very recently. I also like their little store and the old-fashioned candies and gifts that they have in there. I think it's a cute place, but I also think they probably overextended and opened up too many locations. Now, as far as this thing with this logo, I have a theory on this, and I believe this is the same thing that happened with the American Eagle ad. This is a marketing scheme. There is some marketing company, if not several, that are doing this type of, I don't even know how, there has to be a word for it. I got to look it up. I've been out of school for a while. I went to school for marketing. And, you know, when I was in school 20 years ago, we did not have all this. But I think what they're doing, they're using bots to create a controversy, and that's part of the marketing campaign. There is no way in the world that I think that logo to me is so similar that I thought it was a shortened version of the logo. You know how sometimes companies will have just the type and they'll have the mark with the icon. I honestly did not notice that they had gotten rid of the old man. I thought that that was just the type version of the logo until people, and I actually do this for a living. And until people actually start this whole thing kicked up in the media. I don't think that people are that well versed in brand design to be like, wait a minute, the old man is gone. I really don't. I honestly think that this is something that was started by a marketing company. I think they put bots on social media and then it snowballs. And I think the same thing happened with the American Eagle ad. I don't think that these controversies are organic. I think what happens is the bot posts and people react to the bot. And then it just builds and builds and builds. And the bot is an AI. The bot is learning as people are replying to it, if people are making other posts. I have no tangible proof of this, but I 100% believe that that is what is behind this in the American Eagle campaign. Now, for me to hear that they have switched their food and they're getting rid of the cooks, which the cook that I saw going in the back was a person that looked like me, that they're getting rid of those people and using frozen food, and also they're turning into one of those companies that makes everybody a part-time employee except the manager, so you don't get health insurance and you actually usually won't even get enough hours to pay your bills, so therefore it's no longer a real job. I have a serious problem with that because there's probably people that have worked there for years and they probably love their job. They love the people that they work with. They love greeting the customers, whatever. And now you have taken their job and essentially just made it like a part-time job for a high school kid, which when I was in there, I saw grown people working in there. Then I see kids working in there. These people got families and bills. I honestly think that this woman is not a good CEO. I don't think that she knows how to restructure this company so that it is profitable. And I also feel that we have a lot of businesses that are only profitable if they are exploiting people. And in my opinion, that means your idea for your business is invalid and you shouldn't be in business. And I think that that's what's happening with a lot of these retail and restaurants, that these are not really valid business ideas. They're built, at least, I don't think, it doesn't sound like this one started this way. It sounds like these people had real jobs with benefits and everything else. This woman probably came in from a company, because this happened to me when I was in college. We had this new, what was she, a creative director come in, made us all part-time. We lost our health insurance. Everybody quit, all of this stuff, because she came from a company where that's how they treated their employees, where we were working at this boutique where we had 40 hours a week. We were off every other Sunday. They worked around our school schedule. It was like a real solid job. This woman came in and said, oh, this isn't how these stores are supposed to be ran. So, I mean, I personally, I think the CEO is the problem, but I also think that the company had problems before she got there. California Pizza Kitchen also is frozen food. I worked there too. I had a bunch of jobs when I was in my early 20s.
So wait, what's the name of the restaurant?
California Pizza Kitchen.
Oh.
I worked in the corporate office. So I know for a fact, unless they've changed it in the past so many years, and maybe they have, but I highly doubt it, it's frozen food. It's similar to what Trader Joe's does, where they flash freeze it so it doesn't taste frozen, but it's frozen food. And California Pizza Kitchen is expensive. It's way more than Cracker Barrel. But I mean, I feel sad because I feel like it's probably going to end up going away in the next few years. That's what it's sounding like. I don't see how they're able to steer this around. I think that this is the beginning of the end. Who knows? Maybe they might be like Red Lobster. They might go and find another CEO that might come in with something very simple and turn the whole chain around, because that's what happened with Red Lobster.
That's true. That's true. But what I think is sad is the trickery of, we're going to make you part-time so you can work up to 32 hours. That way we don't have to give you benefits. That's just what they're doing to people is just disgusting and sad. And like this woman said, we got bills to pay. We got a family to take care of.
Yep.
Fired all the cooks and you giving this frozen food and putting it in the microwaves. Like, come on, but you charging sit down restaurant prices.
Well, now that that's been exposed, that's gonna have to be done away. I'd imagine that they're probably gonna get rid of her, because in all honesty, now that has been exposed, the customers that go to Cracker Barrel, they're going there because it's supposed to be like home cooked food, and it's not the cheapest breakfast place.
Right.
So I think that the customer, they're gonna have to cease that, like almost immediately. Now that someone has blown the whistle on that, or else they're going to be out of business, because there's too many other places to stop and eat. And sometimes Cracker Barrel, you got to wait an hour. If you're on the road and you got to get to where you're going, you're not going to spend that hour to eat no frozen food.
That part. Thank you, Callie. Katrina, your thoughts?
I don't care if Cracker Barrel went out of business. I don't care about the little man with the churning the butter. I don't care about Red Lobster bringing that foul seafood boil that tastes like dirt. I don't care about it at all. And I'm not a heartless person. But Cracker Barrel has always been racist, haven't changed, will not change, and they would never get a cent of my money. They have so many lawsuits against them on segregation, on how they was paying, discrimination on how they was paying their black employees. And another thing, they would I've heard allegedly, it was on YouTube, we know you have to go with that they would say raccoons. And when they say raccoons is coming in, people would spit in your food. So I don't give a darn about Cracker Barrel and their little barrel and the little man sitting in the rocking chair. All of them rock away. That's all I got.
48, your thoughts?
Yes, I second Katrina's notion. I don't give a damn about the Cracker or the Barrel. Their food is disgusting. I'd rather go to Yo Mama's Soul Food.
All right, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. I just really just like what they're doing to the employees. It's just sad. But we're gonna roll into this last story where the CEO got knocked out by the Uber driver and he is suing. Hold on one second. Let me share screen.
Butting and punching. Moment caught on camera. An Uber driver seen headbutting and punching a passenger. That man who was hit now taking legal action against the rideshare company. And ABC's Ike Ajachi has more. Ike, good morning. This is really disturbing.
It really is. Good morning, Mary. A biotech CEO from Charleston, South Carolina is speaking out after he says he was assaulted by an Uber driver earlier this year that left him hospitalized and facing months of recovery. This morning, the rideshare rumble sparking urgent questions about safety. Watch as this Uber driver gets out of his car and knocks a passenger to the ground while holding his service animal.
It happened so suddenly, but the attack is so vicious, so inhumane.
It was supposed to be a routine night for Bryan Kobel, a biotech CEO from South Carolina. He and a friend and his licensed service dog Piper ordered an Uber just after dinner in downtown Charleston.
The gentleman said, no pets. I said, she's not a pet, she's a service animal, just to clarify. He said, no pets. I said, look, she's a service animal, so it doesn't really fall under that again.
According to his complaint, Kobel says the driver, 42-year-old Vadim Ulumdashiev, a Russian national authorities say is living in the U.S. illegally, refused to allow a service animal in his car. Surveillance video capturing Ulumdashiev storming out of his Audi and headbutting and punching Kobel as bystanders watched in horror. The Uber driver fled.
Someone just punched someone and fell on the ground and his head is bleeding from the back. We need someone immediately.
Kobel rushed to the hospital.
I had a split upper lip, and then I had 7 staples across the top of my head, as well as 4 stitches in there. And then internally, I had a severe concussion, which took quite some time to recover from.
Ulumdashiev eventually arrested and charged with second-degree assault and battery and is now in federal custody at an ICE detention facility as immigration authorities begin deportation proceedings. Kobel is now suing Uber for negligence, claiming the company put profits ahead of passenger safety by hiring Ulumdashiev with an alleged fake driver's license, questioning the rideshare giant's vetting system. Ulumdashiev's attorney telling ABC News that the driver's license is legit and the video doesn't tell the full story, and she intends to defend her client vigorously.
The reality is Uber is failing miserably to protect its riders. Despite saying that safety is its number one priority, they need to be more stringent with who they choose as drivers. And frankly, they've brought these wolves into the henhouse.
Now, Uber has since responded, saying it's committed to safety and complies with all regulations around worker eligibility and that there's no place for violence. As for Kobel's service dog, well, the dog is okay, guys.
Oh, what a story.
Yeah, just so shocking to see that reaction.
It really is. It really is. All right. Thank you so much, Ike.
So sad. Let me share screen again. Biotech CEO shocked by Uber's response after being left for dead in assault by an illegal Russian driver. The CEO of a biotech company is suing. Hold on, let me pause it. Is suing rideshare giant Uber, claiming he was attacked by one of his drivers and left with a brain injury. Bryan Kobel, CEO of TC BioPharm, claims the attack happened after a dispute with a South Carolina driver in April. Kobel explained the conversation started as innocuous, but quickly escalated when the driver allegedly knocked him unconscious. I was shocked. Uber is a $200 billion company. When you get in a car with the Uber sticker on it, it carries the brand's weight. It carries the trust that you have in that brand. Kobel explained Tuesday in America's newsroom. Kobel said he was stunned by the company's response. In fact, he picks up an Uber ride about 2 minutes later after leaving me for dead, Kobel said, noting that he contacted the company. He contacted the company with hospital records, a police report, and photographs of his injuries. About 48 to 72 hours later, Uber just deactivated my account. Kobel argues that Uber has failed to properly vet its drivers and has avoided taking accountability for what happened to him. You would have assumed, and I have up until that day Uber do background checks. They vet these individuals, that they got a stringent process that's difficult to evade. And apparently that's not the case. The driver has been identified as Budam, I'm not going to mess up his last name, 42, a Russian national who legally entered the U.S. according to the Department of Homeland Security. After the attack, he was arrested and charged with second-degree assault and battery, then released on a $10,000 bond. He has since been placed in ICE custody. I was taken aback, Kobel said. It made me wonder, how often has this person done it? How many other times is this going to happen? It appears to me that this is sort of their Uber's MO, which is put yourselves, your end users, your riders in a dangerous situation, said Kobel. If something bad happens, disavow any sort of liability, any responsibility, any accountability. Throw your hands up and say, it's got nothing to do with us. According to Kobel, the incident began when he told the driver he would be traveling with a service animal. The driver objected several times, saying it's not allowed. Kobel said he asked the driver to cancel the ride, who then confronted him on the street. I put my hands out saying, get in your car, and that's it. Next thing I know, I'm on my back in the hospital. Kobel's lawyer states he suffered a severe concussion and head lacerations that required multiple staples. An Uber spokesperson issued a statement. There is no place for violence on the Uber platform. While we can't comment on pending litigation, Uber is deeply committed to safety and complies with all applicable federal, state, and local laws and regulations around worker eligibility. First of all, they're going to have to pay out of their tushy. You deactivated his account when he complained. Shame on them. Julius, your thoughts?
They covering they behind. It's cover up 101 at this point. They covering they behind. They deactivated his account. The paperwork may not be kosher with the driver, and they probably knew that. But he's making them money, so they don't care. But he's from a certain place. He'll be fine in this country. I'm not gonna say where, but it's in the article. Yeah, they're trying to cover it up because they know that this guy has time and the financial resources to sue their behinds. And you know what? The victim in this, I hope he prevails.
I hope so too. Thank you, Julius. Callie, your thoughts?
Wow, I did not expect that he was that badly injured when I first heard about this. He could have lost his life.
Yes.
You hit the back of your head like that, that can take you out of here. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Me and my mom, we take Ubers because we travel backwards and forward from here to New Orleans really throughout the year. And I think that Uber is a little bit cheaper than a cab. You know the price up front.
Right.
And usually they have a little bit nicer car than a taxi cab.
Okay.
You know, and I've met some really nice people taking Ubers, but I've heard some horror stories. We actually had a man in New Orleans that unalived a Uber driver just because he wanted to unalive someone. So he calls for an Uber and unalives this woman.
Oh my God.
It is dangerous. Getting in the cars with strange people, letting strange people into your car. On top of that, there are a lot of people who are driving under other people's names and licenses. So they can say, oh, this man is legal, this man is legal. I have personally known someone who was here from Ireland who was not here They were not supposed to be here, and they were driving the Uber for years.
Mm.
So, and eventually they ended up having to return to Ireland. That's a whole different story. But this is a known thing with these gig jobs, is that a lot of these people are like using a friend's or a relative's license or something. And they're not actually here legally. This is a known thing. Now, I'm going to be honest, the gig economy should have never been allowed to exist. We have labor laws for a reason, and it was something that was signed in to skirt around labor laws. And this man who did this to this other man, this man is 40 years old, and he's driving at a gig job. This man, which means that more than likely, this man does not have a real job with a 401k and decent health insurance and all of this stuff. These people that are out here driving these Ubers are going to be elderly in a few years. And you think we have problems now. Wait till you have a bunch of people that have been working at jobs with no 401k and no real health insurance becoming elderly. I mean, this is something we fought for labor laws in this country. We have them for a reason. These gig apps only exist the way they do to skirt around labor laws so that these greedy people can make more money by not having to hire these people and have them be actual employees. It's like they are slowly chipping away at the civilization of this country and turning it into a third world country. You should not be, and this man is because they don't know who the heck this man is. They're not screening these people. They're not interviewing these people. These people are just essentially, just signing up for an app and putting they don't even know for sure if this is even the guy. This could be his brother or his homeboy that looks like him, and he is using his license. Obviously, this man got some issues if he got that upset with that man. My mom has called for an Uber with a dog. They do have one where you're supposed to ask for one that allows pets, but typically our dog is in a carrier. We've never had a problem, but she's never been out of the carrier. But what he should have done was cancel the ride and explain to him that he has to call for a car that allows pets and show him where it is on the app if he didn't see it. Because it is a little small writing, and sometimes if you're not good with technology, you might not see that there is an option to request a car that allows dogs. Something is not right upstairs with this dude. I am so glad that this man has the means to sue the pants off of Uber. I think honestly something needs to be done about Uber. It either needs to be made into a regular company, or it probably needs to go, because there's a lot of incidents that happen with Uber. We just so happen to hear about this one.
I agree with you. And the other problem that I'm seriously having, to be very honest with you, is the fact that they deactivated his account. So they didn't know who they was messing with. And they got it on, and he got it on video. So they're screwed. Why would you deactivate his account when he showed you the report? He told you everything. So just imagine if he didn't have it on video, and like you said, just didn't have the means to sue Uber. I'm glad he got it on video. This is sad.
Well, they feel like they're eliminating any liability. Like they can essentially have people work for them, and they're not liable if the person gets hurt, workers' comp, they hurt somebody, the car is damaged. They're out of it. They're just making money with no liability. That's the whole reason why I feel like this whole gig thing should have never been signed into law in the United States. This is something that they would have in like Bangladesh or something. But this man, I want to see what's going to happen with this, because they need to have some accountability for this.
Yeah, I'm going to stay connected to this story, but I think they messed with the wrong one. And yes, he should have, but see, he asked the guy to cancel his Uber, and the guy didn't want it to, because I'm feeling like the guy wanted to be slick and still get paid. He's messy. Now he's dealing with ICE. So you want to knock somebody out. Now you're dealing with ICE. Katrina?
This will happen when you try to eliminate the middleman. You don't see too many yellow cabs anymore. You don't see too many checker cabs anymore because everybody want to call Uber. And you notice that the insurance company is also offering carrier insurance, meaning that if you in a taxi cab or Uber, if you get hurt, they can insure you. With this man, if you didn't want no dog in your car, you should have just drove off like the man did with the big girl. He wouldn't let her in the car. He drove out.
I forgot
Instead
that
of
was you too. Right.
yeah, he should have just drove off and put in that I didn't pick this person up or just went on. Why you getting out your car punching somebody and knocking? He knocked him flat, and this man was just laying. I mean, he must have hit him. Oh my God! And the service dog wasn't doing nothing but just looking. And normally, the man already going through some challenges. If he got the service dog, he got the service dog for he got some type of thing going on already. So this is crazy. And that's what I don't understand. People do what they got to do in life and whatsoever, and I get it. But that's one thing. I'm not ordering from no Uber Eats because I don't know what you're doing in my food while it's in your car because it be some of everybody bringing people food. You don't know who that person is, or do they got a stapler in their car to take back up me to staple your food back once they done did something to it. No, ma'am. I already be hesitant by eating food when I can see you cook it. I darn sure ain't gonna let you put it in no car and bring it to me because too many things could happen. That's just me. I ain't everybody, but that's just me. But when you eliminate the middleman with the taxi and all that, with this Uber and what's his name with the little RoboCop cars that drive themselves, you must be a fool to sit in the back of a car and you can't get to control of the steering wheel and the doors and stuff is locked. You's a fool. Like I said, they want to eliminate the middleman, and this is what we getting. And I agree with Callie. This is ridiculous. But to each his own. Just be careful out there because these people are nuts. That's all I got.
Thank you, Katrina. 48, your thoughts?
Okay, so I actually drove for Uber. And I actually like quit on them. Like I have like a luxury vehicle and I have to pay a lot for my gas. Let me put it like that.
Okay.
And you have to go, they would have me going like all over the city of Houston to the south, Galveston, Sugarland, like all over Houston. And I was like, man, this is crazy. So I went to go pick someone up, and the lady wanted to, like halfway through the trip, she wanted to add someone to the ride. Now, being that I'm from the hood and stuff, my mind automatically go to like, oh, she trying, it's some funny shit. Oh, sorry, Diva. It's some funny stuff trying, to take place. So I was like, well, no, I can't do that, ma'am. You actually in the app, you're supposed to add the person like that you want to split the ride with so that me as a driver, I know that if I want to take this or not. So the lady got upset. I put her out my truck and I called Uber. Uber actually paid me for the trip still.
Oh,
So my
wow.
thing is saying that is, yeah, they do that. Like I quit on them because, it just don't make feasible sense to do it. But they will, that's why it doesn't make sense to me why he even got out and attacked the guy. If he could just call Uber and be like, well, he should have, ordered a vehicle that allows pets because like Callie said, you do that as a driver. I had to go into the app and let drivers know if I wanted to um allow animals, if I would go pick up alcohol, tobacco for them. Like I had to approve all of that. So to me, it just don't make sense why he did it. But I do hope that the guy that he assaulted, I do hope that he get on Uber's ass because they are pathetic, Diva. And I'm not even kidding with you. When you said the 200 billion, I'm like, damn, these fools don't even. Now, don't get me wrong, they offered you like discounts to things, but you don't get like health insurance. You don't get a significant discount on your car insurance. So it just, I hope he clean they ass up. But I also don't think that they should take away gig jobs. a lot of gig jobs is how a lot of people from where I'm from the hood, came up. I seen people that flipped COVID. Like, yeah, people were passing away, but for a lot of people in the hood, COVID was good if you knew how to flip your money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't think gig jobs are bad. I just think they need to have more oversight. All this technology that we have, how come they can't make a camera that, you know, automatically turns on and make sure it's the same driver that's supposed to be driving? You know what I'm saying? It's something that they could do, but I do hope that man gets justice.
I think I agree with everything you said. I think you well. Like, so I do see that's the double-edged sword with these situations. You know, things like Uber, Lyft, it helps people out, especially, you know, maybe they had to work their full-time job and just do a little something extra on the side. And Uber and Lyft, things like that, you make your own hours. You could be like, okay, like I'm gonna go now versus going to another physical job and having to be there maybe from 6 o'clock at night to 10 o'clock at night or whatever.
Diva, can I say one more thing?
Yeah, of
But
course.
I forgot to tell you this. It is a, like you said, a double-edged sword, because when I first started with them, I made maybe like my first month, maybe like $2,000. And I'm like, man,
That's not
oh
bad.
my God, you know, yeah, I could do this. But then after like the third month, I'm like, man, this ain't, So Diva, you're definitely right.
No, it works that way for everybody. I think it's actually set up that way, especially when Uber first started, so that we would not. Uber was still on the ballot for a few years. So I actually think that they rigged the app so that in the beginning, people would be making money and everything would be fine, so that we wouldn't get rid of Uber, so that we wouldn't protest and say we shouldn't have this. Now, just because
Hey,
Uber
Callie, did
isn't
you
a
notice?
big job doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. What I'm saying is that Uber should have to hire you and pay you benefits just like everybody else does. That's what I'm saying. They shouldn't be able to go through that loophole.
I totally agree. And then I think they got people too, because I really signed up during the pandemic because it was hard to keep, because I have a vehicle that's kind of expensive. So I needed something to like help with that money. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, they got the Uber Black. So let me sign up. It was definitely a dupe. Like, it's not worth your time. If you're gonna
I know
start,
some people that have
go ahead.
destroyed their cars. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I know so many people that have destroyed their cars. And what it is, you're actually liquidating your car. You're not actually making money.
Facts,
Because
yeah.
the mileage and the wear and tear and the risk of accident that you're putting on your car, you're basically just taking the equity out of your car.
You are so right. You are so right.
No, this is
Yeah, because that's a
problem.
lot of miles we put on your car. The more miles you
Yeah.
put on your car, the less value your car is.
This is extremely problematic, and it's a greedy company that went through a loophole in the labor laws, and it was on the ballot to get rid of it, but at that time, people were still making money doing it. See, they
Well,
did that
you
to
got
kind of
celebrities.
keep you.
You got celebrities that's invested in Uber. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot of celebrities invested in Uber and made millions ringing that bell. Yeah.
Exactly. Made millions while somebody then jacked their car up, and they probably already were at a low point and they made their life worse.
Yeah, it's sad they take advantage and it's a big get over. But you know what? I hope this man get a few double-digit millions for his troubles, because there's so many people that these situations happen to, and it's very sad. Listen, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I appreciate y'all hanging in there while I have my technical difficulties. Much love. Y'all know the routine though. If you ain't hit that like button on the way in, do me a favor, hit it on the way out. Thanks for being here for Trending Topics. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.
Bye.
Choo choo choo.